No time to flip for standard lore. Welcome to the Worldbuilding podcast. I am actually here joined today by someone. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Joker. Yeah, Joker.
I figured you guys say like Joker. That you're like Joker's song. You can find your if people want to find you, it's like Joker's song BT on like Twitch and other things.
Yeah. I didn't know I was allowed to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, if I invite you to do something, you're allowed to like promote yourself.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, today I brought alongside one of my players, specifically to go and talk about Arya. So, I actually have given them a lot of lore with Arya, and I wanted to help them. Well, I wanted to go and get help to actually expand a organization surrounding my favorite dragon. So, what do you remember?
Good question. I remember that. I remember very little because obviously goldfish memory. But
you remember that she's a dragon? I take it, and that's basically it.
What's that?
I said, I think you remember that she's a dragon. That's basically it.
No, I remember a few things like I think it's Saturdays she does the whole exercise that looks like an air show to the citizens of the town.
Yeah.
I think it's Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday night, yeah. And then she does the church service the Monday morning, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember she likes to go to the arcade. I think it's on Sundays.
The arcade wasn't necessarily like any specific day. It's just like whatever. No, it's just like whenever it's like a slow time, like she'll usually just say like, "You over there, random person that just happens to be in the bar that I know is in this town. Come watch the bar over here. I want to go move around." Like, that's literally what she does. She just goes and gets a random NPC that just happens to be in her bar or at that given time to watch the bar while she just does like DDR or whatever else she decides to do as an exercise.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah.
But that's not all I really remember from the notes you gave me. But yeah.
Alright then. So, some things you might not know about this from, like, the organization. So, the organization here is kind of going to be, like, this shadow organization of the town. So, Arya's the leader of it, obviously, because she kind of oversees the entirety of the town, oversees the safety, oversees everything else. The innkeeper, believe it or not, so like Jubilee, the old woman that you normally see in there, is actually second in command, and believe it or not, it is actually like Arya's childhood friend, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like when Alwyn had said like secret lover, it's like I was amazed about how close that was, but it still is incorrect because it's not. She's not technically her lover. It's just that like Jubilee actually. Well, Jubilee did several paintings about how she thought that Arya might look as a human, and especially modern times. And so, like when Arya saved the town and tried to get back the gold, Jubilee actually said to Arya, "No, that's hers," and showed her a painting where Arya actually transformed into the Arya that you know today. Yeah. Some of the main officer that I actually do have is, funny enough, Mara as well. Like, I say that Mara's probably in this organization, less for the fact that she actually is an important person in the town, and more just the fact that like she's kind of like the lawyer of the group. So like, oh hey yeah, like we need to go and worry about the legality of this thing. We need to worry about this other thing. What? Who do we call that's like directly in town that we can access? Oh, I know. The leader of the police. Let's just ask Mara. Why not? Plus, she probably occasionally comes into the tavern just to order drinks as well.
I see.
And actually, on that note, I also did think of somebody else. So, you may not know this, but this name should ring a bell. That Pink is also an officer in the same organization.
You're kidding.
No, I am not kidding.
That is awesome.
Yeah. With all of that overarching lore, within the towns of Dawsbury, which for those that are watching this on, like, say, YouTube, to where, like, you can see the actual map, I have up the map, complete to where they can see it. So I have on a tavern, with a hidden room that kind of goes into the underground layer. There's a different part of the tavern that's basically just the store general things. I don't know what the thing in the upper right is. I just kind of use that to fill in air space. I guess it's like a casino or something. The police station is kind of like just as you're heading out of town. Chuck E. Cheese is near it. And then there's like a coliseum just kind of like towards the right of the town underneath the Chuck E. Cheese. In the center, right under the police station, is the inn. And under the inn, there's a armory and well, actually, I guess an armor shop more specifically. It's just like general equipment, basically. And then right behind it is a magic shop. And then at the very bottom of town, towards the beach, there is the swimsuit shop. Or rather, I guess it's just a clothing store. It's just that it has like a lot of swimsuits in there, because it's a beachside town. And then on the beach, obviously, is like a beach volleyball court, because just like Arya's very active thing. So I figured that the town might just as like entertain her with a volleyball match, and then that there is the change rooms.
Right.
So, I wanted to kind of see about like whether or not there's any other things that you might think of that would be in this town, because obviously there's a church, and so I say that this foundation basically like probably meets once a week, like right after the church service, to go and meet in the area. So I would say probably the leader of each store is there. So like the armor store owner. Actually, I'm just gonna say store owners, because like then it kind of fits basically.
Right.
And so that would include the armor, magic, clothing, and did I say a different store? Or is it just those three?
Say what?
Did I say anything other than armor, magic, and clothing, or did I like not? Or did I just leave at those?
I think you left it at those. I don't recall you mentioning anything else.
Okay. So now that I think about it as well, somebody else that I say works closely with Arya is actually the organizers of the Colosseum, believe it or not, as well. I guess part of what we should do as well is like figure out a little bit more about like each of these people. So like obviously we know Arya, obviously we know Mara, obviously we know Ping. Is there anybody else that you say we should have on the list of registered members?
I don't. I don't remember many of the NPCs we've met in the town. So
I mean, I was going
I
to say
know.
like, is there like any like other things like maybe church members or like
Oh, maybe the priest of the church could be in on it.
I mean, technically, the one that leads the service is Arya.
Oh, fair.
But yeah, the priest is, I do say, probably would be there as well. Oh,
All right.
I don't even know if she technically would have somebody that is like this person that you just call up and be like, "Hey, I need you to come in and like right now, for like a shift. I need to get around to. I need to move around and help me." Actually, that probably would be Sam too.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That'd be funny too.
Um. Okay, so then I guess that we should probably start, like with some of the other things, because like you don't like there's nobody else that really would be like known, right?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So like, anybody else that would be like a regular member or an officer would probably like I just not really be known at this point because I'll be real. I would say like a lot of the stuff are me. So I guess let's go for the Coliseum organizer first. Or organizers. How many organizers do you say we should have? Because obviously it's a big organization, and there's like, I probably like we have like usually a 300 people betting at a time on those like matches. So how many people do you say would have to be doing that to or be like an organizer for that? So that it's like, you have the Coliseum running smoothly. That is actually like, a you know, yeah, like basically, how many organizers do you say would we would have to have to where like it would make sense that uh they could actually like hold that many bets, to process that many bets, and also still keep like the scheduled Coliseum about like which matches are lined up for that day. They run smoothly as well.
Well, let me put it this way. If I'm not mistaken, uh, let's compare this Coliseum to like a horse race track. Okay,
Okay.
we've got the ticket takers. You know, the ticket booth people. You know,
Fair enough.
they're like the, hey, place your bets slash, hey, here's where you hand in your ticket to gain entry kind of thing. Um, so let's say about 3 or 4 of them, because I think that's the standard, 3 or 4. Um, then we've got an announcer who is usually the one, you know, announcing what's going on and when each race is, so each match in this case.
Fair.
Um, so that bumps it up to 4 or 5 because we're estimating the ticket booth people.
I would say that we probably don't need to worry too much about the announcer right now, because
Okay.
like the announcer is not really doing like any administrative tasks. Like, with the organization, it'd be a lot more about the people that do administration type things, because like the administration stuff of kind of are the people that are more wanting to make sure that they're in like Arya's good graces. So like I the one that's like running the schedule of the Coliseum, for example, they
Right.
want to make sure that every single thing that they are running and every single match that they're running, and like they probably send in taking the schedule for the next day to Arya prematurely. Uh,
Okay.
Now that's not to say that there's no surprise matches, such as like you guys coming in. They could not have known that. But I would say that there's somewhat of a case to be made that Arya wanted you all to fight. And so, due to the fact that Arya wanted you all to fight, then you guys got placed onto the docket for that day. Uh,
Gotcha.
but like the announcer is just kind
Something
of
I
like
would say.
commentating, so there's not really anything that he needs to do. It's more just like a regular town member at that point.
All right. Well, I will say this much because you said you wanted to make sure that like anybody who's in this organization would be making sure that everybody's in Arya's good graces, right?
Yeah,
So while they're not exactly administrator, they could be like people that are undercover, making sure that everybody's, you know, again, in her good graces. But like the people walking around the crowds offering concessions could also be scouting to make sure, you know, everybody's, you know, still, you know, in her good graces, as you said. So I think that could fit like little peons of the organization that would be undercover as concession people. Does that make
yeah,
any
I like
sense?
that. Uh,
All right.
so basically, the kind of organizers that I'm thinking of right now, probably organizer one being the ticketer.
Right.
Organizer two is the one that controls the docket. And then Organizer 3 is the spy master. So he's the one that's trying to make sure that like, hey, like make sure you correct yourself, make sure you don't say this, make sure you don't say that, etc.
Right.
etc. Uh and so like the concession people kind of like are the spies that that person controls basically. Uh,
Right.
uh so yeah. Uh, do you actually have any idea for these races, or should I just like roll on the tables? Because, like I said, I have like a random table.
Actually, when you said that the one person would be controlling these guys, I
So the spy
figured
master.
maybe make the guys constructs. Yeah, make them constructs.
So like, what type of construct? Like the main two constructs I have is like a gear forged one, which is like definitely a lot more of a robot. Uh, and then the other one is a warforged, which is a lot more of a like how do I describe it? I guess they're kind of a little bit more of like an android, I guess. Because like they are quite literally half human, half robot, to where like they can detach their arm and place on like the arm blade, for example. Uh,
So like a,
but they're otherwise human.
so they're like a cyborg.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think of. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Uh, Well, didn't you say that Mara is a construct
Yes, Mara is
in
indeed a
this case?
construct.
And she doesn't exactly look robot, right?
True.
So would she be more Warforged or construct? Because that matters in this situation.
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever considered about what Mara actually is. She's always just been this like, yeah, hi, I'm a robotic cat girl. Who cares about what I actually am? Who cares about what D&D race I am? I'm just a robot cat girl. It's fine. It's cool.
Well, considering how she looks, I guess you could say she could be more Warforged, but like more humanoid than robot looking. Even though she is more robot, well, all robot.
Yeah, I would say
So
that
it's like,
Warforged would probably be like, if we had to pick immediately a race for her and not make like a different custom race for her, which we might actually do, if we haven't already at least, then like yeah, I would say closest would probably be a Warforged because it's like by technicality, Mara can open herself up to kind of like access various compartments, and she could also probably like if she wanted to like detach her arm and place in like say a blade there, like an arm blade, for example.
yeah, so she would probably fall under Warforged.
I wouldn't say necessarily Warforged or that she's like specifically Warforged, but I would say that the closest to an actual official race is would be a Warforged. Uh, so should the organizer and should be the ticketer and the docket person also be a Warforged, or are you saying that they should be like other things?
I'm saying that they should at least look humanoid, more human than robot, but they should still be, considered robotic,
Well, I
kind of
understand
like
that for
Mara.
like the spies being like the concession people and the spy master
Yeah,
basically, but like
right.
the docket person technically doesn't have to be like seen at all. The
Right.
ticket person like uh there is a case that they need to be seen, but by technicality they could just be hiding behind like the screen so nobody actually sees them. They just hand out the tickets and stuff.
Right. Let me think.
Uh,
Maybe a Kenku for the ticket booth person. Have we met a Kenku yet?
yes, you have actually. Uh,
Oh,
Whether or not you remember is another story. But and nothing else, there was the pink bird one that was a Kenku.
oh. What races have we not experienced yet?
I mean, to be fair, you haven't really talked to the Kenku, I'll be real. Uh,
Fair,
but in terms of
but I
the ones that
more
we've not done, I don't think we've used an Aarakocra. Uh, I don't think we've used a Genasi. I'm pretty sure we've not used a Bearfolk. Or an Astral Elf. I could be wrong on the Astral Elf. I don't think we've changed. I don't think we've dealt with a Centaur or a Changeling. Um, Unless you count like Chromatic Dragonborn specifically. You guys have dealt with Dragonborns for reference, and
right.
the Empire you guys have not dealt with. A Druger, which is an Underdark elf that you have not dealt with. Uh, uh, Deep Gnome is listed separately, so I assume I have a reason for that. But that's basically just an Underdark Gnome for reference. And
Okay. So I'm gonna stop you for a second because I just thought of something that would work and would also be funny in the end.
Bean.
Instead of a Kenku, ticket booth person is the Dompier. Because they're gonna be in the shade all the time, so they're not gonna be in the sun.
For reference, I don't think the Dampier actually has any issue with like being in the sun. I didn't check
You
it.
sure?
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Dark vision. That's typical. That's expected. Dark thirst does nothing. Predatory charm does nothing. Yep, there's nothing in the traits that has a issue with them being, in the
Oh,
sun.
well, I looked it up specifically saying, do Dompiers in D&D hate sunlight? It says they don't burn in sunlight, but they are sensitive to it.
So yeah, but that could be just that they're like very, very pale, and so like they burn a lot
Right.
easier.
Right. So it would still be fitting. They're in the shade so that they don't burn, so it's perfect for them to be in the ticket booth. It would be funny and it would make sense.
Yeah, but keep in mind they do actually have to leave the ticket booth to actually like head over to the church on Sunday morning specifically.
Oh, and plus they're not exactly a creature of,
Yeah.
good standings with churches.
Yeah.
I didn't think that through.
Yeah, because like the issue with all these races is that they had to at least be able to come out at some point to like meet with Arya to kind of like get the plans and stuff for the week. Make sure that there's any updates, to see if there's any updates as to how Arya perceives people, etc., etc.
Which would be kind of funny though. Like, oh, the Dompier is about to come into the church. Everybody get ready. All of a sudden, Dompier's like, oh, this will be fun. I burn!
I mean, yes, that would be funny, but I think you're thinking too much of a vampire with that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So yeah.
But anyway, but no, maybe no, because if we go with any kind of dwarf, then they wouldn't be seeing anybody over the counter. Maybe a centaur at the ticket booth then.
I mean, too bad.
Maybe
I
a
can't.
centaur.
The Underdark dwarf or like some sort of dwarf might actually be funny. I'll be real, yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny, but if they're supposed to also be observing, they can't exactly do that if they're so short they can't see over the counter.
I mean, we wanted to do like the tiny short person that can see over the counter. We could also just do a fairy.
Oh God, you're making it worse. Although technically, if we give the dwarf a footstool or a high chair,
If you get the dwarf a high chair and such, that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. No, there we go. There we go. We will make it the dwarf at the counter, but give him a high chair.
Okay. So are we doing like the trigger, which is the Underdark dwarf, or are we doing an actual dwarf?
We'll go with the one you just mentioned before, the actual dwarf. I can't understand what you're saying. Sorry, it's not coming through very clear.
I
will Durgar or something.
Yeah, it's the Duergar, the Duergar.
Yeah. Yeah, Durgar.
So that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I cut and pasted you! Oh, why did you still have Coliseum organizers there? Anyway, what about the docket person? Anything like any idea for a race, or is it just like basically whatever songs they don't mind like going into the sun?
Well, let me ask this. What do they do again? Like, what is the...
So this one basically is kind of the one that like shows up on the docket type thing, such as like uh, say that your character is a gladiator, so like Frog is a gladiator, and like
Right.
he knows that Frog is going to be available for like the next match, for matching like the next day. Then he might
Okay.
go and set up as like Frog and like maybe three other gladiators against like I don't know, maybe a Romaras or something. Uh, and so like they're the ones that are controlling that effectively. So they try to make it so that the docket is like somewhat balanced, but obviously when you
Okay.
throw a wretched into a match, yeah, balance can go out and be thrown out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so yeah. Uh,
Um, in that case, oh gosh. Well, they'd have to be knowledgeable on how to balance a match
yeah,
properly, right?
yeah, they would.
And they'd have to have like a sense of fairness.
True.
And to me that screams centaur or even a minotaur, but we've seen a minotaur.
True, but like the counter to Minotaur as well is the fact that Minotaurs typically are just like all about brute strength. Like they care
True.
less for
True.
intelligence and more just about like, oh, let me charge that thing over here. I will murder it, rather than like, let's see, how should we go about this? Oh yes, let's use that chandelier and try to trap that enemy, and then surround it and beat the crap out of it.
Fair. The centaur would probably be more likely because they're more intelligent about it.
Fair.
And they have a sense of honor too.
True. Yeah, they would. Uh, when you think of a monstrous race and say like honor, I actually probably would think of centaur. I'll be real.
Okay, then centaur it is.
Yeah. Uh, well, actually, I guess either that or kobold, because kobolds do, believe it or not, they are tactful. It's just that they're also extremely, extremely weak.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
I still think I'd go with the centaur then.
Yeah, fair
Because
enough.
like if like we'd want it to be like they can take care of planning it out and all that, but at the same time if a scuffle shows up they can also be like, hey, knock it off, and not be weak trying to be like, hey, cut it out. Kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. I will give you that one. Yeah, that's. I almost didn't consider that because, like, I also at the same time, like, they could just call security, basically.
Could.
Eh,
It could, but
but
yeah, if like let's say security isn't in, which is weird, but
yeah. I mean, there's a
'cause,
case
like,
that like security could be off in a different part. You can't get there in time,
right,
and like
right,
action is like immediately required or something else like that. So like, yeah, it does
exactly.
make sense that like you might want to go and like have somebody that can do strength, even if like they're just a lot more like intelligent and stuff. Uh,
Right.
since we talked
The
about
centaur would
security,
probably
should
be
we
more
actually
strength.
have a security person, or should we just move on to like
That's
one of the
actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. Um, and I'm actually thinking of a half orc for that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because like think about it. What better? what better character do you think of than a half orc for a security guard? I mean, they're beefy, they're muscular,
True.
and half orcs have that one ability where if it, let's say they were knocked down, if they could, um, they get back up at like I think it was 1 HP, and
Yeah,
they
1
can
HP.
just keep going.
And technically, there's also like a just orc, if I recall correctly. I think.
I know, I know, but still, I think if we're going by like a race that's playable, I don't know if you can play as an orc.
Oh, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. Let's see. 2024 orcs. Traits. As an orc, you gain the special traits. So you don't get any of the bonuses, but that's fine. And you can take the dash action as a bonus action. When you do so, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. You can use the straight equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain and all expended uses when you take a rest. They have dark vision out to 120 feet. Jesus. And then
Damn.
and the ability that you're talking about that will recharge on a long rest, they have it too. So as like again, they get reduced to 0 HP, but not killed outright. Then they just drop to 1 HP, or stay at 1 HP, I guess technically as well.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
either orc.
What was that?
So either orc could work.
Yeah.
Which one's smaller on the size spectrum? Like, are they the same, about the same size, or is one of them like slightly smaller?
I think a half orc is smaller. Let me
Because
double.
we'd want them to be able to make it through like a door or something, or be able to get through a crowd pretty efficiently.
Uh, yeah.
And obviously, we don't
Okay. Cool.
want we don't want them to speed through the crowd and have people go flying.
Yeah.
As much as that would be comical, but
Yeah.
no.
So for reference, the major applicable things for the speed and stuff. Speed is both 30 in both cases. Half orcs are 5 to 6 feet. Both are medium size. However, orcs are about 6 to 7 feet tall.
So the smaller ones would be the half orc.
Yes, half orc it would be smaller.
Okay, so again, since we want them to be able to fit through things and get through crowds pretty efficiently, I still am leaning towards half orc then.
All right. For reference, this also would be the head security person. So like the one that's like, yeah,
Oh,
you're not really needing to be security, basically. So like, they should be a decently good to go and actually be a security person, and but
need to.
uh, they like it would be better as well to also have them be a little bit more wise slash knowledgeable, so that they can tell like, oh hey yeah, like we need we're weak over here, go be security over here because as we're lacking in that area, I'll go and be over like here basically and stuff like that, and then just like organizing the comms and stuff. uh
Um, then again, do half orcs are they typically cunning at all?
I don't think so, but that's not to say that you're not
Because
going to find a half orc that is not that is actually like uh yeah, like you could find it in theory a half orc that is kind of cunning, and but like typically they are just like a a little bit more how do you say brutish.
Right. Because now that I think about it, we'd want the head of security to have smarts too. So if
Sure.
we do a half work, we'd have to make sure they're smart too.
Yeah.
Which you just said is not impossible. It's just not normal,
Yeah, it's
right?
not one that you would like it's not something that you might think of when somebody says like half orc. It's kind of like how when
Which
you go and
actually,
say a like a tabaxi. Like I don't necessarily think of them as like a actual security guard. I think of them more as a spy because I when you say tabaxi, I think of like cat person that is like kind of secretive and agile. So that was more like a that's more of a rogue type thing. So yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
well, then actually no, because now I think about it, if we do put a half orc that actually is smart as the head of security, no one's gonna think, oh, this security guard is smart. They're gonna think, oh, this security guard is dumb. We can get away with this. And then the moment that they try, security guard is gonna be like, no, stop it. And they're like, what the frick? Which would actually be kind of, surprising to some. I actually like that idea. What do you think?
Yeah. I say that it would work. Uh, uh, actually, to be fair, like they don't necessarily get the half orc thing with the like dropping to zero thing, but a Luxodon technically is a race I guess haven't really dealt with that
Oh, the
would
elephant person thing?
actually like have that would actually be like uh it's kind of bulky and tanky a and then like it still should be like somewhat skillful and or rather you would expect it to be like somewhat like wise and able to lead people because it is an elephant person.
Yes, and an elephant never forgets, so they'd hold a grudge.
Fair. I mean, too, like I said, I brought you in here for your opinion as well. So I definitely do say like I shouldn't fully overwrite you, but you shouldn't overwrite me. It's like it's always should be a discussion at least.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I
what do you
mean,
think of
now
Luxodon?
that you say it, I do like that idea. I do like that idea actually because if you think about it, then any offenders that get kicked out of the arena, you don't even need a list because this Luxodon security guard would be like, I remember your face. Get out of here.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that
Uh,
actually is more fitting.
all right.
I think we should make the security guard a Luxodon then.
Well, head security one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, head security, yeah.
Because they might actually have like orcs and half orcs that are actually being security guards, or it's that are just
Right.
like litter around the a like stadium and stuff. But yeah, because I'm not gonna say like the one that went to get you guys for your match was a centaur, but like the person that got you for your match did report to the centaur at the very least.
Okay.
And so like they talks to the centaur to kind of like say, oh hey, I need this person, and this person, and then like shows like where they need to go basically. And kind of like has the security guards, I guess probably like lead the people to a certain an area just in case they like act up or something.
Also, side note, half orcs and orcs, if they were to meet each other, do you think the orcs would be making fun of the half orcs at all
No, I would
for
say
being
not
like half
actually,
breed?
because
Okay.
the thing with a half orc is if a orc and a human have a child, it's always going to be a half orc. Or if you have a human and a half orc, if I recall correctly, it still stays a half orc actually. Uh,
There's no such thing as a quarter orc, right?
yeah. Uh, uh, I mean, to be fair, like just the fact that you're uh, dating a orc or a half orc, if I recall correctly, just immediately becomes like a half orc. If it's an orc and an orc,
Right.
okay, sure, you might get the fact that it's like, okay, it's going to be an orc, because like I don't know how you'd go and get to be like an orc that's dating an orc, have a child with said partner orc, and then it's like, wait, this comes out as a half orc. What?
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So because it'll come up uh like better, I'm gonna move over to the tavern helper. So
Okay.
what race do you say we should have the tavern helper?
Um, maybe a changeling. Make them female.
I mean, a changeling doesn't even have to be female. They can just straight up be like a male and then end up being female. Like they just really do not care about
True.
gender.
True. True. But think about it. How often do you see women in a bar or a tavern? Not
With
that
you
often.
guys
Like
often, because hi Arya, and then like
well, I'm talking about like majority of the patrons. What's the percentage of male to female ratio there?
in my world or normal.
What do you mean? Like I didn't catch that.
Like in my world or normally, because those might give like two entirely different responses.
Oh, in I think you asked in your world was one of the options.
Yeah, like are you referring to like the ratio of female of bartenders in like my world or
No, not
your
not not bartenders, patrons, as in customers. Because I'm going somewhere
uh
with this.
yeah, no, like there's not really gonna be a lot of uh female customers.
Okay. Well, there could be the occasional female customer there. That what you just said proves my point. Um, we could make it a changeling, and then like depending on the like make them be able to sense like the preference of the waiter or waitress or whatever that the customer prefers, and then the changeling just changes into that and be like, okay, so I'm gonna be your server today, and they're like, okay, like they don't have problems then, and then they tip generously and all that. You see where I'm going with that, right? Like
I
make them
see
feel
it.
more comfortable.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't necessarily say that would be like a. I don't know how that would work though.
Like all they'd have to do is like you'd have to script it like they did an insight check. You don't have to obviously because it's an NPC
Yeah.
and talking to another NPC, but like hey, this is what you see this changeling turn into for this customer, and all of a sudden this customer just seems really really happy and very pleased with the service, but this is normal for this town. So like eventually the changeling memorizes, okay, this customer likes this form, this customer likes this form, and to make them feel more comfortable around the tavern, I'll just be in that form for that customer. You see what I mean? Make them feel more comfortable. not necessarily in a inappropriate way, but like in a genuine, non inappropriate way, you know, like just genuine comfort. You see what I mean?
I definitely do say like I don't mind giving them the special trait, knowing and the preferences of tavern regular. There's, but like I wouldn't necessarily say that they should just like outright know or be able to tell about like say Frogs. No, actually, Frog is a bad example. Um, yeah, like you know how Rich has a Florida Man character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if Florida Man came
I
in
see the
here,
problem.
yeah, like I wouldn't say that they should just automatically know, uh, hi, this person's into this thing. But like definitely with people
Well,
that
not
they've known for a while, like I can definitely see
right.
them knowing it.
Then how about this? How about this? For new customers, like let's say it was the first time one of the player characters walked into the tavern, um, this changeling can walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's your preferred server, like form?" And then they'd be like, "This," and then they turn into that and say, "Does this make you feel more comfortable here?" Or something like that, you know, or be like, "Hi, I'm your waiter, waitress, insert, you know, thing here." You know, just to give a sense of comfort in the tavern. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like they could outright ask, and the tavern patron would be like, "Okay, yeah, this is what I'd prefer. This will make me feel more comfortable." And then the changeling turns into that. And then as time goes on, as repeated customers come in, the changeling just memorizes, "Okay, this is how this customer wants me to be, this how this, you know, that kind of thing." So
Fair.
it's not as much of a guessing game anymore. It's more of a just, "Hey, how would you prefer your server to be?"
Alright. I think we covered a majority of that. So let's figure out about the armor owner. So like this is the owner of the smith that like Crafter went and borrowed to kind of like do his like loaded dice thing. Um so what race do you say would fit like a forge type owner?
Do
Uh,
you think a minotaur would work?
True. Minotaur would be one. I don't think you guys have dealt like you guys have dealt with a Minotaur, yes.
Yeah, but
But
we don't need to keep going with new races. We can repeat races, right?
yeah, yeah, we can easily repeat races. Like it does just simply because we have not used like a Eldarin or a Furbolg doesn't mean we can't like I use a Minotaur.
Right. Of
Uh,
course, they need to be smart enough to barter, so I don't know.
yeah, that's the other thing. Is it? But it should be somebody that's kind of like capable to be strong, but yet also feels like they would be like building that. Uh, and nothing else, we can come back to that if we want to. Because
Yeah,
like we are
we might
approaching
have
that
to.
hour mark, so I do kind of want to get at
Yeah.
least like an idea about the races and about the genders of certain things. Like the gender, I'm not gonna worry
Oh,
about the gender or on.
right.
Um, how about the magic shop owner? Like, what do you think would be like a little bit more fitting for that?
All right. hear me out because I'm going to be very, very specific with this one. A fairy wizard.
Really, a fairy wizard.
Specifically, a fairy wizard. Specifically, think about it. Wizard class, they studied magic like it's
Yeah,
nobody's business.
fair,
And fairies are indeed of magical nature.
true.
What better combination for a magic for a magic shop owner to be a fairy wizard?
I mean, I can't say that I haven't done that before, because, like, after all, I had a jewelry store clerk that was a hair gun sorcerer, or sorceress, I guess.
Was that the one that Hops was supposed to romance?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she was a sorcerer. Then if you had dealt with her at the Halloween thing, she was probably going to fireball you.
Oh. Sounds like a good time. Anyway.
Wow, sir. Fair. Anyway, for the
No, I'm kidding.
what?
No, I said no. I'm kidding. Anyway,
For the clothing shop owner, how about that? Like, we will.
but no. Yeah. What was the next one you said?
The clothing shop owner. So like the one that mainly deals with swimsuits because it's a seaside town.
Well, if we're going with swimsuit maker, technically, it would have to be something that is more accustomed to swimming in general. So they like know how hydrodynamics works and how they could apply that to swimsuits.
Fair.
So I'm thinking, oh God.
So if you want to go for like a more custom race, which we have not used any of these, is the more aquatic ones that I do have. At least I have typed up and confirmed, like, yeah, none of these are fine. That would be a Betan, which is more militaristic underwater people. And then mermaids, but I'm not sure about how applicable either one of those two would be.
Well, I was gonna go with a merfolk, but you know, you just said you don't know how applicable that would be. Applicable that would be.
Well, the main reason why I don't, why I question about how applicable it would be, is the fact that like, with a male or female merfolk, like they actually have the tail, so like they technically don't need the swimsuit. The male ones probably don't really need too many clothes when they're actually like underwater.
True.
Like they might need a shirt, but that would be about it. As for women, they would just need the top part of bikini because, like, for the most part, like the tail should cover like the lower region.
Well, to be fair, if you think about it, we could script it as Arya also taught this merfolk to make the bottom parts of the swimsuit so that people who aren't merfolk can still go swimming in a proper swimsuit. Like, just teach them about more humanoid anatomy so that they know how to properly make swimsuits that are hydrodynamic and would work well for whatever race it is.
Well, the only issue with that is the fact that like Arya like heads into like a clothing store or into like a clothing area, less to actually buy clothes and more just for the illusion of it, basically. because like how I script the gym dragons is just that they can just change clothes as part of their form change. So like I
Right.
you see Arya in the swimsuit. That technically is a different form to her in the tavern where she's like with the other parts.
Right. But I'm saying, like, I'm not talking about her having knowledge of clothing or anything. It's more knowledge of what needs to be covered on what race. And she's probably seen a lot of races throughout her time. So she'd probably have a general idea of what needs to be covered when it comes to a swimsuit. So she could just say, "Hey, when you're making a swimsuit, make sure these regions are covered by the clothing. Make sure it's hydrodynamic. You're good." And it's teaching the merfolk how to make swimsuits for all races.
Yeah,
So it's not so much as she's buying any. It's more like she just taught them.
true.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Uh, but I'm not sure about. Like I said, I'm not sure about how alcohol would be. Like to me, it just seems almost like you're trying to talk about like say a sea elf, where like it's basically just like the underwater equivalent of an elf, basically.
Well, the reason why I didn't go with Sea Elf is because we've got a player character who is a Sea Elf and, well, I think was a Sea Elf actually.
I
I
mean, he
don't know.
currently is a sea elf until he dies. So,
Okay. And we're currently trying to make sure that he doesn't die, which is in the end a problem. I don't know.
uh, I mean, we'll probably deal with it at some point. Like
Yeah.
I mentioned this on a recording and earlier in the day that I will probably like talk to him about that earlier, or when I go and like do this tomorrow with him. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, like,
All right.
uh,
Well, I'm pretty sure we've reached that
I still do want to kind of like settle more because like I'm not really sure if I want to do like the merfolk. I feel like sea elf or
I
like a
mean,
seismic hybrid kind of just work a little bit better. Maybe even a turtle or a triton.
let's go with the Triton.
Uh,
Just for the sake of argument
okay.
because uh Turtle would be great and all, but they don't exactly
Oh yeah,
they're not
true.
exactly sea
Yeah,
dwellers.
they don't need clothes either. Funny enough, I
That
think
too.
the triton actually is like a I think that is actually like a merfolk thing. At
Oh
least
dear
by
God.
like
Let me see.
the yeah, I think that is called a merfolk by like movie things, but yeah, I'm not too sure about how close they would be to like actual like
No,
mermaids because they seem to be like a
no, they're
very
more
human.
humanoid.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. I looked up in images of Tritons for 5e, and yeah, they no, they are very much humanoid. They have legs.
Yeah, I know. I knew that they did, but I'm just unsure about like how close that would be to like the merfolk that you're doing. But I feel like it probably fits a little bit better with what we are both saying.
Well,
Um,
let me check merfolk images. No, merfolk are more just mermaid kind of things, so they don't have legs.
yeah, it's just that it might
So
be
it
an
would
issue with
probably be
Arya
better for a Triton.
trying to teach in anybody about fashion is the fact that like you may not know it, but she also hates fashion. So
No, I wasn't like again, I wasn't going for a fashion state of her doing anything. I was just saying, hey, these are the parts you need to cover up. Whatever you pick, pick. Like cloth wise, whatever style you want to do, I don't care. Just make sure that the bits are covered.
I mean, yeah, but that would be more like with Jubilee, not Arya, because I like Arya more covers up just due to the fact of Jubilee rather than like actually herself, because she's a dragon. Like dragons normally don't actually have clothes on in dragon form.
True. True. But again, maybe Jubilee had taught her the like some of the anatomies, and then she said, "Hey, Jubilee, go make sure that people are covered when they're going swimming. Go tell these creatures over here to make swimsuits for those who will need them." Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like
But
it's
I think
better to kind of like have it be somebody that like somewhat at least knows about what to kind of like cover up.
so then a Triton.
Fair.
Because they would technically be able to wear regular human clothing and they'd know what to do.
Fair enough.
And considering they're of aquatic nature, they'd know more about hydrodynamics and how to make it work.
All right. Like you said, you probably need to go. So thank you for joining me with this. We'll probably have to find another time to kind of like go over this again with like the like anybody else that might be like important if we think of them, and then just like the actual like male female thing, maybe even names and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Uh,
I mean, we can't have NPCs without names, right? That's the DM's worst nightmare.
yeah, I mean, funny enough for you saying that. Like the first thing that I did with this, I went and literally said like, yeah, names are just hard. Like NPC names, town names, yeah, names are just hard. Let's be real.
No, I feel you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've already made that joke with this podcast, I'll be real.
Yeah.
Or at least I have.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you for the insight on Arya and other things with it. Like I said, it always does help to kind of like talk things out with people, especially if they're like other DMs. You know, the whole reason why I'm talking with Wretched about the Nine Hells tomorrow is just simply because, like, one, I feel like he would know a lot about the Nine Hells. Two, he would be there anyway. So, yeah.
So you want him prepared for what's coming to him?
Exactly. Nothing scarier than something you know for a fact that is coming and that you can't stop yourself from going there.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed hearing all of this, and yeah. Definitely something that I feel the need to have gotten through with doing at some point. Whether or not we'll go and find another better name for the organization than Arya Foundation, we'll figure that out later, I guess.
Right.
What?
No, I said right.
So yeah. Anyway, I tell you need to go. So that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. It was a little bit longer. I am always like that with friends, so do note that. I am like that on Twitch as well. Like I said, if you want to find Joker on Twitch, it is Joker Song VT. Let me double check on that. So basically on both of Twitch and YouTube, it is Joker Song VT. You should be able to find them on Blue Sky under that same thing as well. If you ever want to see more about that. I will definitely have something with like Joker tomorrow, or rather, like at some point soon. When that will be tomorrow, we don't know. I do know that at least IRL, when these are being recorded, I am actually going to be going for Wretched tomorrow. Joker, we'll see about whether or not he's there, but it is what it is. Anyway, uh, like we said, we'll figure out a lot more of this tomorrow. As of right now, the best I have is that it's the Arya Foundation. Of course, Arya is the leader. Of course, second in command is Jubilee. Officers, to explain why they are. Mara is, of course, an officer because she's Mara. She's like the actual one that's doing all the legal issues. Ping is a lawyer. The players, like Joker, just annoyed her to the point that she joined up with the evil lawyer. So yeah, evil lawyers in this organization too. The Coliseum organizers, probably another set of officers. They're probably directly reporting to Arya because Arya loves the Coliseum and stuff like that. The regular people, there's the store owners, there's the tavern helper probably. As for like any sort of pawns, it probably would be like the priests, the spies, and just like Ping's pawns, because if Arya needs something aided, I definitely do see that Ping might just aid her by sending in some pawns. So yeah, enough of that. So I'll probably touch that up a bit for our next session, or for next time. As mentioned, we do need to kind of like come up with the names and stuff. I might go and think of a bit more parts of them, but we'll see. I might do it at that point. I might not. I might do like 3 ones on this. But if you want to see me yap a bunch, and I do live. Yeah, like I will frequently stream on Twitch at Gordon_fan42. I will yap about basically any topic that I know anything about. Like, D&D is the one that I can yap up and yap about and find a bunch of different things to yap about. So that's why I do a podcast of it. But if you want to see more general things for me to yap about, then Twitch is the way to go for that. I will yap about there's so many topics I'll yap about that it will take me a while to do that. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. New episodes of this will be every Saturday, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and happy plotting and just happy games, nonetheless.